Welcome to Yeshiva Dashir, sponsored by Nishma Asar B'Yakashol Now B'Sitzchok. We're holding in Basra, Daf Kuf Lam and Vav. We're starting in, so two things. We're also the Nishmas Yosef Rosenberg, who was the Yosef Rosenberg ben Moshe, who was the Shadnes guy, and big. This was all they're called standard Lulei Nishmas. And now we're getting to the big Lulei Nishmas. The biggest Lulei Nishmas. Who's the Yortzeh tonight? The Yortzeh tonight is Rameir Shapiro, the one who established Daf Yomi. And anybody who learns Daf Yomi, he has a gratitude to Akar Satoiv to Rameir Shapiro with coming and initiating and pushing this idea of Daf Yomi. So we should obviously the shiur should be Lulei Nishmasoi, and we should really be starved to what Am Yisrael is Lamish. Rameir Shapiro had no children, so his children is Am Yisrael's children. All the Am Yisrael learning Torah, Nifla Moed. Maybe I'll just mention one ha'ara as we start is that a few years ago I saw it that Rav Shor brings this idea. Rameir Shapiro was nifter. What is today? Today is Zayin Cheshvan. What is Zayin Cheshvan in Shas? Zayin Cheshvan is the day that when in Eretz Yisrael you start saying V'senta al Matali Bracha. Why Zayin Cheshvan? Because you wanted all the people that came for the regel to be able to get out of Eretz Yisrael, not to get wet. So in order to take care of Am Yisrael, we waited to ask for rain to make sure that nobody in Am Yisrael gets lost. Says Rav Shorish that this is Rameir Shapiro. He made sure that everyone in Klal Yisrael is taken care of. That Yom is taken care of. Everyone in Klal Yisrael, we should be able to learn. So he makes sure everybody's taken care of before, and that's the process of what he did. Okay. So the Mishnah. Hakoisev nechosov levonov, someone who writes his assets to his kids. So sheichtoi mehayoim lachem miso. He has to write mehayoim lachem miso. Why has to write mehayoim lachem miso? So we started mentioning this concept yesterday. Yesterday I did not go into it too much because it really belongs to this daf. Mehayoim lachem miso is the idea of payrois right now, or lachem miso later. Someone who gives his nechasim to his children. The Bava says he's a bar, he's not a shchivira, and he wants to marry a woman. He doesn't want the woman to touch his nechasim, so he gives it in the nechasim while he's eating the fruits during his lifetime. While he's alive, he still eats the fruits, but these properties belong to the kids. What? Irrevocable trust. That could be a good way to say it. But it already belongs to them. I don't have to write Nayom Lachem Miso. We'll see in a moment why. Comes a father and he writes Nechasim to the son. Again, Guf Hayoim and Paris Paris is eating today. He's getting only the Guf. He's getting the Paris after Miso. So the din is the father cannot write because it's written for the son. The son has the right as the parents. And the son can sell because the father is owning the fruits. So really they can't do a full sale. So which sale could they do? The father can sell it. What does he have the right? He has the right to use it in the meantime. He has the right to use it for the time being. So this he could sell. He could sell that right to somebody else. But if the son sells, so the buyer will not get it until the father dies. Because right now the son is not able to use it. And the Gemara is going to explain a little bit more details regarding that. It says if he writes so what? We know by a woman who gets divorced. If he writes mehayoim lachamiso, that's not we don't know what he meant. He meant today, he meant lachamiso. Together she does chalitza because we're not sure if he meant to say today or lachamiso. Something also misapkalon itnoa veichazor. Here we're not sure if he's saying it's tonight. I'm giving you the get today, and the condition that you don't use it until I die. Or he means to say I'm changing my mind. I'm not giving it today. I'm giving lachamiso. I don't know what it means. You can't separate the woman and say partials today and partials tomorrow. It's either all today or all tomorrow. Here I can divide it. The guf is today, the pair is lachar misa. Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yisrael made the tzarich of the do it. Rabbi Avu Cholash. Rabbi Avu became weak. How to give Rabbi Huna Rabbi Nachman. Omle Rabbi Huna Rabbi Nachman. Bo minei halacha k'Rabbi Yisrael or halacha k'Rabbi Yisrael. Says, so what do we saw in the Mishnah? The Tanakama says you have to say Ma'ayom Lachar Misa. From today till after Misa. Because you want it to be Chal. You want it to get after Misa. You can't give it after Misa. You give it today. But Rabbi Yisrael, you don't have to write it. So he said, what is the halacha? Halacha is Rabbi Yisrael or not? I don't know his reasoning. What's the reason? You can't get a gift after Misa. So why does the Yisrael say you don't have to say Ma'ayom? Interesting, this is we see this. This is also a quote from the Gemara in Gittin. Homalei at boy minei yaloch oiloi. The time ane aminoch. I want you to right now, because what happened? Rabbi Avuah got sick. He wanted to make sure to ask him some questions that they had. So Rav Huda tells Rav Nachman, please do me a favor, ask him if Allah is like a berisi or not. So Rav says, I don't know the reason of berisi. Ask that question. I'll explain to you the reason later. Meaning, when you ask the question, what do you see from here? You ask the question, you don't have to necessarily know the reason. I want to know what the halacha is. Afterwards, I'll figure out the reason. So, he says, yes, we pass like a basic. Also, the nafka to the left, what says Rav Huna to Rav Nachman, this is the reason of Rabbi Yossi. You know why you don't have to say Ma'ayom Lachar Misa? Because the zman of the shtar, the date, is Ma'ayom. Why do I write a date? The date is to say the shtar is happening today. You don't have to write Ma'ayom. The date of the shtar is Ma'ayom.
The shtar says that I'm keeping the din.
The shtar says that this shtar was written on Gimel Sivan. And the shtar should be Chal Lachar Misa. Why write Gimel Sivan? Because I want to tell you that Ma'ayom Lachar Misa. I'm giving you that today is the date that it started. You don't have to say the word Ma'ayom, automatic is Ma'ayom. What happens if he says, if he writes Hakno? What's Hakno? Hakno is, in the shtar, it's a kinyan. There's written a kinyan. So what's the shtar? As the Rashbam explains, Hakno Mao. B'shtar shikosu b'kinyan, mipolik avidu matzimich to Ma'ayom. What is the question? He didn't write a get. He wrote a kinyan. So if he's writing a kinyan, shar is, do you say now is that? He's giving the kinyan, he's relying on the kinyan only. Or not, and you're saying you have to say Ma'ayom Lachar Misa. Depends. Depends which kinyan we're talking about. Akneo v'kanino minei loy tzorich. Kanino minei akneo tzorich. What's the what's pshat? So the way the Rashbam explains like this: if you have the two lashonos of akneo v'kanino minei, it's a double lashon which is extra. Why you say the extra lashon? To tell you I want the kinyan to work, I don't want the shtar to work. I don't have to say Ma'ayom Lachar Misa. I'm doing a kinyan right now. The kinyan is koine. I don't have to say Ma'ayom Lachar Misa. Right away it's koine. But that's only if you have a double lashon. If you have only one lashon now. Now what is the lashon over here? So with the Rashbam, in the beginning of the shtar, it says that this shtar is done with the kinyan. Then when you finish the shtar, the Eidim come and summarize the shtar, and they say the kanina minei, we did the kinyan. So not necessarily the Eidim say something new. They're just summarizing what we said before. That depends on the lashon. If it says akniye v'kanina minei, so the kanina minei, is a new lashon, it's a new kinyan. But if it says kanina minei ve'akniye, I mean the kanina minei says first, and then it says akniye, so then that means he's just repeating what we just said before. So that's not going to be a good kinyan. Look at Lashon Rashbam. If you want to see, we'll go through it. Rashbam, the word like akniye ve'kanina minei le'tzorich. So the Rashbam, zeu shekoysim b'chol shtar shekoysim b'kinyan shtei kinyan. Every shtar I write kinyan twice. Echad b'tchilas hashtar ve'kach amar lanu hevel lenu eidim ve'konu mimeni. So the beginning it says he told us to be Eidim to do a kinyan. That's the first one. He says the Eidim to do the kinyan. And that's the summary in the end. You have to repeat yourself in the end. It says Aknio, which is the summary, and this is Kanino, we did another Kin. That's an extra Kinyan to say should happen today. That's only one Kinyan. The Perush should come in Farish, explain to myself. So the Rashbam explains it really depends on the Lashon. There is a Lashon which means there's a Kinyan, and in addition I did another Kinyan. And there's a Lashon that says that we did a Kinyan, let's summarize the Kinyan. Depends what you're saying first. So if you have the double Lashon, so then you say you don't have to write Ma'ayir. Interesting Lashon. Says, you tell me there's a difference if it says Kanino ve'akni or akni ve'kanino. Does the Sefer, the ones who write the shtar, do they know this rule? They should know it. If they're the experts, they're the ones who write the shtar, they should know it. So, Shalom the Sivir de Abayi, the Yadi. They asked the Sefer Abayi, he knew. Sivir de Rava, the Yadi. He did know. It's a little bit fun, like interesting. Like he says, the Sefer should know it. They actually did know it. To understand what the Gemara trying to tell us. I don't care where the Lashon is, which one is first, which one is second. As long as it says double, the only machlekes is when it doesn't say kinyan. It says this is zichron dvarim. Remember the words that were said, they happened in front of us. No kinyan. If it doesn't mention a kinyan at all, so then you say I have to do me'ayim v'lachem isu. If it says a kinyan, I have to do it at all. So you're saying it this way, that what? If Huna Brady of his shoes coming to argue and says I don't have to do anything else. We said a different way. He says the name of Nachman right away. It doesn't matter which Lashon of Kinyan you write in the star. If you wrote a Lashon of Kinyan, you don't have to do Me'ayoim. But if it doesn't say Kinyan, it just says Zichron and Dvarim that happened in front of us, please, that's what the machlekes is. That's the summary of, basically, is a Kinyan revoke the need for Me'ayoim. Very good. Says the Gemara, so now we talk about, that was the end of the Mishnah. Someone wrote to his wife, to his son, sorry. So then you say that the son doesn't have the ability to sell only once the father died. The father doesn't have to sell only when he's alive. And that's the case. So we spoke about that. Now comes the Gemara and asks the following question. The son sold when the father was alive. So what we learned before, the right goes to who? The right goes to the sale. The buyer can get it after the father dies. Why? Because the son is going to get this property once the father dies. So the son sells. So the regular case, you have the father Yaakov, the son Reuven. Reuven sells the field to Shmuel. So Shmuel will get it only once the father Yaakov dies. Now it's asking tomorrow, what happened if Reuven died first? Does Shmuel still get the field or not? Why not? So as the Rashbam explains, because once he wrote to somebody else, he was mistalik, as if he removed himself from this Yerusha. As we'll see the Rashbam when we get to Amud Beis. So let's see first of all. He sold it to the son sold it when the father was alive, and the son died when the father was alive. So they want to have Amud Beis. The buyer did not get it. Why? Kinyan Peiros ki Kinyan Guf Dami. Oh, that's the classic machlekes. He owns Kinyan Peiros as Kinyan Guf, which means the father who owns the Peiros, he's considered to be the owner of the land. So the son cannot sell it. Right? The son cannot sell. If the son cannot sell it, so why if he's alive it's sold? Because he's giving him the right that he will get. He never got the right. He died before. In other words, right now the son has the guf because the father wrote him. The father all he has is the payers. That doesn't prevent him from selling it. He's considered to be the owner.
But the father can't sell the land.
Own the fruits. But the fact that he has the right for the fruits, he's considered to be the rightful owner. If you look at the Rashbam, the first Rashbam, the Rashbam brings over here, he never came to the bin. Says the Rashbam, very important information. Let's say the son did not sell it. He didn't sell it. Who's going to be Yerush? His son. Right? Reuben died before Yaakov. So his son, Machir, will be coining the field. He gets it. So why is it different? If a person writes this as if he's removing himself, I'm not getting it because I'm giving it to you, and I never actually got even the right to it. So according to Rabbi Yochanan holds that as long as the father owns the payers, he's considered to be the rightful owner. The son did not do anything, effective.
So what does the father give him?
The right after he dies.
But he would be Yerush because that's the right. So he's the Yerush.
No, but let's say there's two kids. He's giving to one more than the other. He makes sure that one gets it. And right now, when he has the guf, what do we have the guf? He has the guf, the right that will come later. It's not a maton la'achar miso. But now that he died before, he never got it. Says the Gemara.
That's not focus when he gets something now or not.
Yeah, in other words, exactly. It's considered to be that the son owns it or not. So Rabbi Yochanan holds the father, as long as the father is holding on to the payers, kira payros kira guf. And Rishokish says no. This machlekes of Rishokish Rabbi Yochanan are arguing. This machlekes is a famous. It's already arguing this thing. Let's see. Someone who sells his fruit, his field for fruits. In other words, he's not selling the guf. He's keeping the guf for himself. He's allowing the buyer to have the fruits. The buyer will bring fruits to Beis Hamikdash and do mikra bikurim. In bikurim, you have to do two things. You have to bring the to Beis Hamikdash and you have to say mikra bikurim. Not everybody who brings the fruit to Beis Hamikdash says mikra bikurim. Right now in the Daf Yomi Yerushalmi, we're learning Masechus Bikurim. So there you have, there's lists of people that they bring, but they're not kohen. For example, someone who doesn't own the land. He's maybe vein a kohen. So here you read the says Rabbi Yochanan, the guy owns the fruits. Can he be maybe a kohen? He says yes, he's considered to be the owner. So Rishokish Shalom may vein a kohen. It's maybe not going to do kriya. Rabbi Yochanan maybe a kohen because so Kirin Peres Kikir Guvdami, he's the owner. Rishokish Shalom may vein a kohen. Kirin Peres Lav Kikir Guvdami. It's not the same thing. Now, the Rashbam answers something which is very important. A lot of discussion over here in the Yonim of Bikurim. Why does he bring the fruits? According to Rishokish, he owns the fruits. Why he brings the fruits? Look at the Rashbam. The Rashbam says, "Maybe ve'in a koyre she'eino yochol likros ha'adom asher nasatali." Can't see ha'adom asher nasatali. Miu be'avo chayav. He has to bring it. Ch'tiv she'tovim me'artzecho. He does have a shibud of the karka leperis.
Same story about the gift.
The ger has a different problem. Yeah, he can't say asher ishbat al v'sein. But here he says adom asher satali. Somebody adom, but he could bring the fruit because he does have karka me'artzach. So the Acharonim ask, what's the difference? Why the gabi left to bring? It's called artzach. But the gabi to say the mikra bikurim is not called adom asher satali. So we're going to discuss it, just like what the idea is, that when you're saying the mikra bikurim, you need to have not only the right for the land, you have to have the ownership of the land. But for it to bring it, you have to have the right for the land. Let's come to the Rashbam, and there's more to talk about at a different time. Says the Gemara, so the Chor says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan already spoke about this. Why have to say it again? Even if you tell me they usually Kir Peres is a Kir Goof, I still have to tell you over here. Maybe I'll tell you, usually when you own the fruits, you own the land. But when a father sells a field to his son and he retains the fruits, he's basically giving up the right to hold on to the land. So yeah, he has, if it would be a regular person, you own the fruits, you own the land. But a father regarding his son is Moichelin. Kamashma. Shloki says, even though maybe you usually hold Kir Peres like you goof, he still need to tell me over here. I'll say 1 second. What's the case over here? The father had the land and the fruits. He gave the land, retained the fruits. Maybe he demanded more than a regular fruits. Usually, when someone, like the case we spoke about before, Reuven sold to Shimon the fruits. So all Shimon gets is a Kir Peres, which is lav Kir Naguf. But when a person owns the land and the fruits and he sells the land, even a father maybe is keeping more than a regular guy. So what brings two opposites first? Why my father will be different? Either my father will be different because he wants to give the son more, or my father will be different because he's the original owner, he wants to give for himself more. So maybe that will be different than regular Kir Peres. Kamash Malan. That's a chiddush. That's the answer. So mainly the question, if the son, the machlokes over here is Kir Peres, can you give down me earlier? Says the Gemara, so we're going to ask Shlokish, right? So as we learned before, I'll give it to Reuven, afterwards Shimon gets it, afterwards Levi gets it. If the first one died, so then what happens? The second one gets it. Second one dies, goes to Shlishi. But what happens if the second one died while the first one is still alive? The first one is going to die, he's going to go to the second one. But if the second one dies first, it never went to the second one. So then you don't give it to the third. It goes back to the first. Why does it go to the first? Go to the original owner, because all they have is papers. Right? All they have is the right for the fruits, because he's not giving him the land. He's saying you can eat the fruits till now, then you give it to Shimon, then you give it to Levi. Right? I'm not giving you more than the fruits. So why, if he it's only Kir Peres, especially if he holds Kir Peres, Kir Guf Dami, he holds the fruits, he has the land. But if he doesn't eat Kir Peres, like Guf Dami, so he has only the fruits. Why you say that it goes back to the Yorshim of the Rishon? It should go back to the Yorshim of the Noisin who's still only on to the land. Right? Acharecha is different. In the case of Acharecha, then it's a little different. Why is it different? Look at Losh Rashban. Acharecha Shani. The mashma the goof uperis nosal rishon. He doesn't even give it. He's giving the first one goof and peris. That the other peris b'acharecha yirish plani. Ve'aleisa the lirish. Not here. Hilkei shayu b'yad rishon. After kol yimei charecha yakol shecho hapri b'aguf. Umashi shtar charecha plani. Yimai would say rishon yechol imkor goof gelakavon. Says considered to be the first one owns both. And this will lead us into the sugya of tomorrow's daf. It has to do with kinyan lizman, which we'll get into the next one. You give me a gift, but give me a gift for a while. I'm giving you everything. They weren't understood originally the Reuven gives Shimon only fruits. That giver gives to Reuven only fruits. Says, no, I'm not giving you only fruits. I'm giving you the land too. Alright, so why does it go to Shimon if Reuven dies? It's a kin lizman. We'll just end over here the Shak Nataya, just to get a few lines into the next half. So which is established, you give it to the sons of the first one. We have a price that says it goes to the Yoshinoisen. Machlokes is here, Rashbam, and tell you, so who is the question against? This is the question against Rabbi Yochanan. Rashbam learns that it's a question of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan that said the Kir Peres Guf Dami. So clearly, you should go back to the first one. Today's learns, and maybe it's a question on our whole understanding, the whole answer we had before, but so about Tanya Xuri Sherson, says what of Kulam Zayn, without left Tanoi, it's Machlokes Tanoim. Tanya, Nichsor Lecho, V'Achrecha Ploini. giving you nechasim. Afterwards, the next one, the Yored Rishon v'Machar v'Ochel, and then the first one, he said, "I'll give it to you." And afterwards, to Shimon. The first one went and he sold it. Asheni moitzi yad l'kochos. Second one goes to the owner, the buyer who takes it out. He deserves it. Divi Rebbe. Shimon Gamliel loymer ein l'sheni l'mishir rishon. The sheni has only what the first one left. In other words, according to Shimon Gamliel, the first one has the right to sell it. It's considered to be completely the owner. So if you consider to be completely the owner or not. So if you're meeting so you could sell Shimon Gamliel and Larishon Achil's Peres B'vat. Mamash Astira Rebbe and Rebbe Shimon Gamliel. Mamash exact opposite. Kasha the Rebbe and the Rebbe Shimon Gamliel. Says Gemara, no. The Rebbe the Kasha Gufo Halapeyu. What it means Halapeyu? What are you selling? Are you selling the goof of the payers? So Rebbe holds that he cannot sell the goof because he has only the fruits, but he could sell the fruits. So when it says that he can't sell the goof, he could sell the fruits. And the should not sell because the guy told him, "I'm willing to give it to Shani, but if he sold, you can't take it out from him." So that is the way it is. I just wanted to go into just to finish the Mahalach over here. Pays Hashem on the Dav of Shabbos. We'll go back to the beginning of this Mahalach and this question that we saw over here. We say have a wonderful night and a good Shabbos.